Good morning, everyone. I would like to call this meeting to order. Welcome and thank you for joining us during our weekly virtual MLS breakfast meetings. My name is Nanette Ong from Coldwell Banker George Realty, and I'm your April program chair. I'd like to take this time to do a little riddle. Let's see if anybody can answer this. Imagine you're in a room with no windows and doors, and water is filling it up. How do you get out? Does anybody know this answer? I'll repeat it. Imagine you're in a room with no windows and doors, and water is filling it up. How do you get out? Okay, someone said the roof, you swim out, you wake up. Okay, someone here has a close answer. The answer is you stop imagining. Because I had said, imagine you're in a room with no windows, no doors. So stop imagining. So I thought this was nice it was a good riddle for me as well. And it just reminded me that, sometimes when I'm fearing something or if you're fearing something, stop imagining, move forward with caution, of course, have no fears. If you're afraid of something, or if you're just thinking too much, you're thinking, what if this is going to happen? What if that's going to happen? Just stop thinking, what if? Just stop imagining and stop freaking out. So anyways, I thought that was a fun little riddle. So let's move on to a few housekeeping tips. All participants will be muted upon entry into the MLS breakfast meeting. And should you have any questions, please type it in the chat box. Also, if you have any comments, please type that in the chat box and they will all be addressed accordingly. Please also remember to join us weekly as we will have our virtual MLS breakfast meetings every Thursday at 9 a.m. Register in advance for confirmation for this meeting as you will receive it in the emails. Please also remember to connect with us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You may also watch all our pre-recorded videos on YouTube as well as all of our meetings, breakfast meetings on WSGVR. We also have a text messaging service for your updates and text alerts. You may text WSGVR to 72727, and you may also visit our website for information at WSGVAR.com. Now we move on to our quick tip for today, or for this week, CRMLS quick tip. CRMLS encourages all members to stay up to date on the outbreak of the novel coronavirus COVID-19. On March 21st, 2020 of last year, CRMLS began removing traditional open house options from all MLS systems, including Matrix, Paragon, and Flex. This current limitation will remain in place until circumstances permit. Open houses on a walk-in basis are still prohibited. Visit the website for information on how to conduct virtual open houses, latest news, and resources to conduct business during COVID-19. You may also visit crmls.org for more information. Today's agenda consists of our affiliate spotlight by Tom Tseng of TJ Management. Our speakers of today are Alina Cheou, Jacqueline Cheou, and Juliana too. And please remember, to be eligible for today's raffle, you must be a WSGVR member and your name must be displayed to win. We will not accept telephone numbers. Today's affiliate spotlight is brought to you by the affiliate committee, chaired by Sage Gomez of MyNHD and Vice Chair Brandon Zavarsky, First American NHD. Now, please welcome our affiliate spotlight, Tom Tseng. It's all yours, Tom.
Thank you very much. Next slide, please. Hello, my name is Tom Tseng of TJ Management. A little bit about myself. I am a 22-year California resident, and among the 22 years, I spent 10 years in the Bay Area and 12 years in the SoCal. I graduated from UC Riverside with a business admin and a Chinese economic minor. I started my real estate career since 2010 and became a broker in 2019. I got my GRI, Graduate Realtor Institute designation just last year during the pandemic, and becoming a CIP, a Certified International Property Specialist this year. Next. This is my family. I got a newborn 1.5-year-old. Her name is Numi. And on the left side, I was on a carrier using a bug assault and a fly zapper to kill flies because it's a fly season these days, and it's just annoying me. In the center picture, I took Numi to Disneyland. They were closed. The rides were closed, but they were open to the public for free. And so I took her there. It was a blast for her. On the bottom was Utah. We went to Zion National Park. I like to take her out, to explore the nature as much as possible. Next picture, please. Some of my hobbies are camping. On the left pictures, I actually did some outdoor cooking. And it was actually right on my trunk of my van. And then the next, my recent hobbies are to cycle and also to edit short videos. To prove that, I made a short video.
Woo. This is fun. I have never been on this path ever.
Looks like the video might be a little laggy, but it's okay. We'll move on to the next picture. Next slide. And this is my hobby, and I spent the most time on. I spent about 15 years doing martial arts since I was 11 years old. And I used to be a medal hunter when I was in school time. And I also made a short video of my past performances. And lastly, let's get back to the serious stuff. A little bit about the TJ management mission and intro. Our mission is to help reduce the headaches for owners and realtors. And we service the San Gabriel Valley, Orange County, and Inland Empire. During 2020, despite the pandemic and moratorium, we still had 100% rent collection and undiscounted. We deal with tenant repair requests all the time, and we help compare with contractor prices for the best price experience, and we don't add extra fees on top of those repairs. And something we're very proud of is we have a high retention rate for both the owner and as well as the quality tenant, because we do our best to service them and make sure that they are happy. And we also periodically, we try not to increase rent every single year, but every 2 or 3 years, we do increase the rent by about $150 to $200. So the owner's interest and our interest are aligned. That's it for my presentation. This is Tom Zeng. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Tom. That was a great family share. And little did I know, can't mess with you with that martial arts. And also, I didn't know you did short video editing. We could have used your help last year when I was trying to do a crash course on video editing for MLS committee video last year. But now we know. Thank you, Tom. So let's move on to our today's top affiliates. And the first will be Mark Wool from Allstate Insurance.
Don't think he's here.
Okay, we can move forward to Maria. Cosmo Sanchez, New Aim Funding.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Tom, for sharing. That's very impressive. Like Lynette said, we know that you have
many of talent. So we will definitely be giving you a call. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Cosmo. Next, we have Angie Tang from First American Title.
Oh, there we go. Hi, guys. I was trying to unmute
Hi.
it, wouldn't let me unmute. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Angie Tang, First American Title. Tom, that was a really good presentation. I gotta give you super like kudos for that. Angie Tang, First American Title. Thank you. Have a wonderful caravan, everyone.
Thank you, Angie. You too. Next, we have John Wax of Snap NHD.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Earth Day. John Wax with Snap NHD, Natural Hazard Disclosure for all your NHD needs. My information's in the chat. Thank you, Tom, for sharing. I will definitely keep you in mind if I hear of anybody that needs your services. And let's have a great caravan and a super informative escrow panel. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. I'm here for you.
Great. Thank you, John. Next, we have Hong Cheng of Hong Cheng Insurance.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Tom, I cannot picture you with martial art at all. And if you need anything about insurance or open an IRA account, please call me. And have a happy day today. It's the Earth Day. Thank you, everyone.
Next, we have Unita Wu of Home Warranty of America.
Hey, Tom, good job as always. You need a Wu from Home Warranty of America, your 13 months home warranty. Please let me know if there's any home warranty needs that I could be able to help you. We also still offering the special promotion until May 31st. So if you have any buyers coming in, please let me know. I will need an email address and I will be sending them a set of the Arlo free camera for them. This is a value of $130. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Great promotion. Thank you, Unita.
Thank you.
Next, we have Sage Gomez of My NHD.
Good morning, everyone. Sage Gomez here with My NHD Natural Hazard Disclosures. Safe to say Tom is way cooler than all of us here. So thanks, Tom, for that. And good luck to all the panelists today.
Thank you. Next, we have Brandon Savransky of First American NHD.
Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is having a great week so far. Tom, that was great. I definitely know a few of us like to camp, so maybe there's going to be an WSG VR camping trip maybe in the future when COVID opens up. So I hope everyone has a great week. And again, this is Brandon Spransky with First American NHD.
Great. Next, we have Sandy Franco of First American Home Warranty.
Good morning, everyone. Sandy Franco, First American Home Warranty for all your home warranty needs. Have a great week.
Thank you. Next, we have Judy Chow of AAA Capital Investments.
Good morning. Happy Earth Day. My son was born on Earth Day, so is his wife. So double celebration today. And we do 24 hours approval and 20-day funding. So if you have any buyer you want to pre-approve, please contact me. And also, Tom, I have the first Q in Shotokan karate, so we can spar sometime. Okay, thank you.
Oh, wow. Don't mess with you either.
Yeah, don't mess with me either.
Okay, next we have Teresa Lamb of Corinthian Title.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning. Okay, good. Because I have a problem with my audio this morning. I messed around with the wire yesterday. Yes. Okay. Hi, I'm Teresa Lamb with Corinthian Title Company. And please call me for all your title needs. Have a very wonderful day.
Thank you. Next, we have Nancy Chan of Lawyers Title.
Good morning, Lynette. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning,
everybody. It's nice to be here. I took Taekwondo. I have a brown belt, but I haven't practiced in many years, so I'm not going to be matching with Judy or Tom. But thank you, everybody. Nancy Chan, 39 years, going on 40. April, this is my 40th year in the industry. Love all of you. If I can help you with anything, I'll be here for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nancy. Can't mess with you either. I think general rule is just don't mess with anyone. I think we have one more. I saw a comment in the chat that Mark Wu is indeed here under a number. Can we find that? It's an A. A099053 is his number. Is that in fact true? Can we see him, Boleyn?
I don't see him.
No? Okay.
No.
Let's move forward then. Sorry about that, Mark. Let's hopefully catch you next week. Okay, thank you to our top affiliates, and please remember everyone to support all our affiliates with your transactions. Thank you, and they're always open for questions to answer answers to questions. Next, we have open pitching. Just a reminder, we do have open pitching, so if you have something listed, feel free to submit your listing for open pitching here. Thank you. And now we'd like to welcome our speakers through Joseph Nguyen, who will be our moderator. And Joseph is from Pillar to Post Home Inspector. Take it away,
Morning.
Joseph.
Good morning,
morning.
everybody. Thank you, Nanette.
Mhm.
My name is Joseph. I'm with Pillar Post Home Inspections. I'll be your moderator today. We'll be going over some escrow information with you guys. Hopefully, we'll be able to educate you guys a little bit more. And I would like to introduce some of our lovely ladies that will be joining us: Alina Cheou, Jacqueline Cheou, and Juliana too. Yeah, if you guys can introduce yourselves real quick before we get started. Alina.
Hi, good morning. My name is Alina. I've been in the escrow business for over 30 years. I'm an outdoors person. I love to be outdoors. So every weekend I'm spend my weekends waking up earlier in the morning and running around all day out there in the outdoors, and then come back to work. So if you have any questions, feel free to call me.
Right on. Real quick, before we get started, moving on, can we make sure that everybody else is muted? Right on. Thank you. Next up, I have Jacqueline. Can you introduce yourself a little bit too, Jacqueline?
Good morning. My name is Jacqueline Cheou, and with Champion Escrow. I've been doing escrow now for 28 years. And I do escrows for residential properties, commercial properties, and business sales, and hope to help you guys whenever I can help.
Right on. Thank you, Jacqueline. And last but not least, Juliana.
Well, I guess I'm the old fogey because I've been doing escrows for the last 40 years. Sorry. I've been a member of the Westside Gable Board for about 30 some years. Then in 2012, I published my book, The Art of Escrow. And in 2019, I became the first Chinese American president of the California Escrow Association in its 60 some years. And I certainly hope a lot more Asian Americans will follow after me. I'm still very involved in the state organization. And you can find out all about me on my website, www.juliana2.com. And even though I run a full desk this last year with the pandemic, I decided I'm going to teach everybody the way that everybody wants to be taught right now, not by books or articles. So I started my video YouTube channel. It's called Think Escrow. So please look me up on Think Escrow. I have maybe 40 to 50 videos on the escrow process. And thanks, that's me.
Wow. Thank you, Juliana. That's a lot of, quite a resume. It seems like we have a lot of very knowledgeable ladies with us. Again, as Nanette just said in the text, if anyone has any questions for our speakers, please feel free to type them into the chat. We'll get to them if we have some time at the end to go over them. So let's get started, shall we? First question, this is for Alina. What is a title binder and how does it affect escrow?
Well, I think many of you know what a title binder is, but I decided to touch bases again on this topic because I learned something new recently. So I wanted to share that with you. But a title insurance binder is also known as an interim binder. It is a commitment to issue title policy. And that's something that you should know about to save money if you're planning to sell your home within 24 months after it's purchased. It is a cost-saving tool for people like investors who are thinking about flipping property. And it is also a cost-saving tool for people who relocate frequently and don't plan to stay in a home for more than 24 months. So the key question here is, how long do you plan to keep this property? And the reason why is each time you buy and sell a home, you incur a title search to protect the buyer or the lender for against any unknown defects on the title. And you pay a one-time premium for that. So, so in essence, what you're asking the title company to do is not to issue an owner's policy to you, but to the next buyer when you sell the home. So a title binder is not insurance, it is a commitment to issue title insurance. So when you're selling your home, that's when you pay the title policy on the difference on the sales price. So let's say your investor is buying a fixer-upper. He will purchase the binder at the time he closes the first, when he purchases his property, and when he flips it, that's when you take it to title, open escrow, open title, and you use the same title company to avoid having to incur the cost to have the title searched again for the new buyer. Okay, so the important things to remember about a binder is that you must use the same title company. The standard time frame for a title binder is usually 2 years, but there are some title companies out there that offer additional year extension, but they charge you an additional premium for that. So again, a title binder is not insurance. It is a commitment to issue insurance policy. And what I learned, what I want to share is that if the homeowner needed to file a claim during this binder period, he has to convert the title binder into an owner's policy, naming himself as insured before you can file the claim under the policy. So I did not know that. So that was something new for me. So I wanted to share that with you. Now, some other caveats is you do need to make sure you are keeping it under the same name. Let's say you bought it under your name, the investor buys it under his name, transfer the policy to an LLC, that would invalidate the binder. So you have to be sure that if you know that your investor is doing that, then there won't be a purpose for him to purchase the binder, because it will not be available for them to use because they changed the name. Okay, so when you are negotiating the contract and you know you have a binder, make sure that you specify that and you state that you are looking to complete your binder, so you must use the same title company. So make sure that you talk about that.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alina. That was a lot of information. Definitely make sure that you guys have all your information in order with your title binder. So next question I have is for Juliana. Why won't escrow companies cut a check at closing to someone other than my seller, even with signed authorization?
Just mute it. Juliana, you had to unmute yourself.
The host will, okay, there you go. The host let me unmute, sorry. What was the question again? I'm sorry, I was trying to unmute. Was it the one about cutting a closing check to somebody else?
Yes, so I'll read it in case anybody missed it. Why won't escrow companies cut a check at closing to someone other than my seller, even with signed authorization?
Okay, so let's start with a definition of, go elsewhere, net proceeds. What are net proceeds? Net proceeds are the funds that the seller or the borrower will get after all the transaction costs are paid. So if there are repairs to the property, that is a transaction cost, right? If the lender requires credit cards to be paid to get the loan through, that is a transaction cost. However, paying your brother-in-law, if it does not relate to the transaction, is not a transaction cost. If the brother had a note secured on the property, then in order to give it clear title, that loan has to be paid off and it is a transaction cost. So when we issue the closing statement, it is the accounting of everything that is received and paid for to satisfy all the conditions of the escrow. And when there is a new loan involved, the new lender might also require us to give them a copy of the master closing statement, which will show all the transaction costs for each party. They also will question why a disbursement is being made for the seller or for the buyer. And they will even go as far as asking us for a disbursement ledger so that they can match all the checks on that ledger to all the itemized costs on the master closing statement. So the standard escrow practices is that escrow is not allowed to remit net proceeds to anyone but the seller or borrower that is named in that transaction. This is an audit item by our regulator. They do check that proceeds are made to the borrower or the seller or the name of the trust, the estate, or the LLC. So first of all, we don't make payments to anything that is not a transaction cost. And finally, because we get a lot of this, we especially do not disperse to beneficiaries of a trust. If that trust is our seller, we give him the net proceeds. If it is a successor trustee and they have to make the final accounting for that trust after the sale of this asset, then that successor trustee is going to do their accounting, pay all the taxes on the sale, any bequests, any donations that is in the trust, and then the trustee pays the remaining balance to the beneficiaries. So we do not interpret the trust agreement. We do not want to be responsible for interpreting the trust agreement. And so therefore, we will not act as a trust bookkeeper. I don't know if this answers the question, but there are certain reasons why we do not cut a check to somebody else than our seller or our borrower, even with signed instructions, because if it's not a transaction cost, we should not be paying it out of our escrow.
All right. Thank you, Juliana. Just real quick, ladies, if we can, just for time's sake and brevity, let's try to keep our answers just a little bit shorter, just to make sure that we're within the time limits. But other than that, you guys are doing amazing. Thank you so much. Jacqueline, next question is, what is the common oversight when using the form seller's purchase of replacement property?
Well, first, let's be reminded that this form is used when a transaction is contingent upon seller's purchase of a replacement property. I have to say, very often, I would get this form in escrow and none of the options have been checked off. But the seller and seller's agent want the buyer to send in the deposit right away when we open escrow. And that's not going to happen unless the option under 2B is checked off. And I have it highlighted in yellow there for you. So this option says the deposit is to be as specified in the agreement. If the purchase agreement says 3 business days, then we can get the deposit within 3 business days. If this box is not checked off, then paragraph 2B applies. And it says, buyer's deposit shall be delivered to escrow within 3 business days after seller delivers to buyer a written notice removing the finding replacement property contingency. So that means buyer is not making the deposit upon opening of escrow, not until the seller removes the contingency. This is the most common oversight on this form. Now, another oversight is unless the box 2A is checked. And I have it highlighted there in purple for you. All the time periods in this agreement, like inspection, appraisal, and loan contingencies, and even the close of escrow, don't start running until the seller removes the replacement property contingency. I had an escrow where the buyer's lender got the loan approved so fast and locked in the interest rate, but then to find out that we cannot close yet because of this contingency. End up, the buyer had to pay for rate extension costs 2 times before we can close. And then, and that was only after the buyer offered the seller free rent back. Even with that, the seller was not happy because seller did not want to close until she was closing, until she knows she was closing her replacement property for sure. So no matter which side you represent, please make sure you and your client understand the agreement on this form and check off all the options that are appropriate for your client's needs.
All right. Thank you, Jacqueline. That was very knowledgeable. Lots of oversight. So definitely want to make sure that you guys are paying attention to these things. Next is Alina. I have a question. What does the approval of, excuse me, what does the approval of Proposition 19 means for buyer and sellers?
I am sure that all of you have heard that the new Proposition 19 has passed, but the name of this proposition is called the Home Protection for Seniors, Severely Disabled, Families, and Victims of Wildfire or Natural Disaster Act. But I wanted to touch bases with you on the details of this proposition, specifically the advantage it gives seniors. Effective April 1st of this year, seniors will be able to transfer their tax assessment, their property tax basis between any California property. And this benefit is valid for 3 transfers. So I uploaded the chart here, and I wanted to kind of go over that with you. The transfer is for people who are seniors, meaning 55 and over or disabled. It is effective April 1st of 2021, which is this month. And it is for principal residents only, okay? The time period, you have 2 years to purchase your replacement property to file the forms. And it used to be that you were restricted to the same county, but now it is anywhere in California, okay? And it supersedes any local laws if transferred out of the county. Now the value limit, it used to be equal or lesser in value, but now it could be any value. But should you exceed 100%, then that difference is added to the transfer value. So you pay tax on that if you trade up and decide to purchase a higher value property. And of course, now instead of 1-time transfer, it is up to 3 times. And what you need to do to apply is you need to complete the transfer tax application at the county assessor's office where the replacement property is located. And due to COVID restrictions, that we recommend that the application be sent to the assessor's office via overnight mail after both transactions have been closed. Now, this bill was designed to produce inventory, to promote more business. So hopefully more for you and more for me. That's what it would translate to. Thank you.
Thank you, Alina. For Juliana, I have a question here. What are the recent changes to the documentary transfer tax, and why is this important to the real estate agent?
Well, this is really important because as a real estate agent, if you're calculating what your client is going to get in net proceeds, you're going to have to wonder and put in what the transfer tax is for the property that you are listing or you are selling, because it may take a big chunk of it. So this year, there are some cities in Southern California that has increased or changed their transfer tax. We all know that the city of Los Angeles has a city transfer tax of $4.50 per thousand on the sales price. And you're thinking every time you go to LA, you're thinking, ouchie, that's a big amount. Well, the city of Culver City has a tiered tax rate now. The first 1,499,000, it is based on $4.50 per thousand. And then if you go up from that, it's going to be $15 per thousand, from 1,500,000 to 2,999,000. And if you are lucky or you're unlucky to have a sales price even above that, then it's going to be $30 per thousand. So you think about that and you think, holy cow, that is a big chunk of net proceeds. Santa Monica also has an increase. It was originally at $3 per thousand, and now it is $6 per thousand, anything over $5 million. But if you think this is bad, if you ever deal with some of the northern counties like Escrow has to, Alameda is $12 per thousand. Berkeley is $15 per thousand for 1,500,000 and $25 per thousand over 1,500,000. And for the city of Oakland, I think this really takes the cake. The city of Oakland has $10 per thousand for 300,000 or less, $15 for 300,000 to 2 million, $17.50 for over 2 million to 500,000, and $25 per thousand, $25 per thousand over 5 million. So as you can see, the cities really need the income. They found that this is a great way. And I know that you guys don't probably deal that whole lot with Oakland or Berkeley or those in the north, but it's good to know. But Culver City, Culver City's right here. So is Santa Monica. So, you know, you gotta watch those transfer taxes and keep on top of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Juliana. Jacqueline, how should per diem charge be collected?
That is a good question, Joseph, because the details are usually not addressed in the contract or the addendum. I would get a contract or an addendum that says escrow to close, let's say 30 days, and buyer to pay a per diem charge if buyer doesn't close on time. But from the escrow's perspective, that is not clear enough. We need to have more details. We need to know when to start collecting the per diem charge and when to stop. It is a matter of agreement between buyer and seller, but it needs to be clearly and specifically stated. So here is something for you to think about. If we are supposed to close escrow in 30 days, but buyer could not close on time, so do we charge the buyer starting day 30 or starting day 31? Buyer may feel, of course, we should start from day 31. But seller may say, oh no, if escrow did close day 30, I would have stopped incurring the expenses as of that day. Things like interest on the mortgage loan, property taxes, HOA dues, to name a few. So if buyer did not close that day, then buyer should pay the per diem charge starting that day. And then there is the question, when does the per diem stop? Do we still collect the per diem charge on the day we close the escrow, or that day should not be counted? There is no right or wrong way. It is just a matter of agreement between buyer and seller, which needs to be clear and specific for escrow to do their job. So when you write up the agreement, and you can include something like, the per diem to be paid from and including whichever date, to, but not including the date we close escrow, or to and including the day of close of escrow. That would give escrow very clear instructions on how to collect the per diem charge for you.
Thank you very much, Jacqueline. Alina, city reports. Are inspections still required?
Okay, last year, due to COVID, many cities that require inspections made adjustments and they opted to do pre-certifications. So many cities, instead of doing the inspections, you had to sign a form and do the pre-certifications. But now, just starting this month, I assume we resumed to the pre-COVID restrictions, okay? Some cities, every city have their own requirements. So you have to check with the city guidelines because some cities, let me give you a lot of examples here. You have to apply in person. Some inspections are for exterior only. Some have no inspections. And like the city of LA, there's no inspection there. So it was not affected by COVID because there was no interruptions. Everything was filed online and paid through credit card, and you get the report in about 10 days. But the only inspection required for the city of LA would be for the retrofitter to do the water conservation. Some cities don't require for condos. Condos are exempt. Some requires inspection for commercial properties. Some cities require a business license to apply. So let's say that you, as an agent, were applying in behalf of your of the owner. You have to have a business license in that city to apply for them. Some reports are good for 6 months. Some reports are only good for 1 year. Some cities require forms to be notarized, and some include vacant lots, and some require buyer's acknowledgement. I recently just had an escrow in Rolling Hills Estates, and that one, the buyer had the option to choose what kind of, if they wanted to waive the inspection or just pay $200 for the permits or pay $300 for the inspection, for the on-site inspection. But it was buyers who needed to fill out that form. So be sure that you check out with each city. That is the most important, to find out what the new requirements are, because it is changed daily, what is required to close escrow in that city. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Alina. Juliana, could you go over the California withholding law and which transactions needs withholding?
The withholding, we all know, is 3.33% of the sales price. Or you can do an alternative withholding of 12.7 on the gain if you are an individual and you do an alternative calculation computation. Now, withholding is required on every single sale. You got to remember that. It doesn't matter whether you're a foreigner or a non-foreigner. Every single sale in the state of California requires a withholding. But there are exemptions. And the main exemptions are if it's 100,000 or less, if the seller used the property as his principal residence 2 out of the 5 years right before the sale, if the seller has a loss, which then he has to fill out the computation form. And of course, if the seller is a corporation, an LLC, or a partnership that has a permanent address in California and is not a single member entity. Okay, so these are some exemptions. If a seller is doing a 1031 exchange and he completes the exchange, he's also exempt. If you have an installment sale, then it is a bit of a special case. If anybody has questions on that, please contact me directly because we don't have time to go into that. Now, I want to remind everybody that if you do not have a tax ID number, like if you're a foreigner and you don't have a social and you don't have a tax ID number, then no exemption, period, end of story. We need to send in the 3.33%. So if somebody is telling you, I'm not going to give you the social security number, then you say, okay, sorry, you can't have an exemption, even if you're living on the property as a principal residence. On the other hand, if you are a foreigner and you have a tax ID number, well then, if you live on the property, you get the exemption if you are, or any of the other exemptions. So a foreigner with a tax ID number can ask for the exemption. But even if you are a US resident and you don't give the social security number, then you are not exempt, okay? Just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that this is not a foreign investment in real estate property thing. California does its own thing, we always have, but it's very important to remember what can qualify as an exemption, and especially if you're a foreigner. Thanks.
Thank you, Juliana. Yeah, and exemptions are good in this case, it sounds like. Well, Jacqueline, who pays for title insurance?
It is important that we understand that there is no set rules when it comes to who pays for what closing costs. Instead, we can only ask customarily who pays for what cost. For title insurance, customarily, it is the seller who pays for the policy that ensures the buyer to have clean title. And we call that owner's title insurance policy. And it is the buyer who pays for the policy that ensures the lender if the buyer is getting a loan. Now, Belline, can you please put up the slide that I have for number 4? Okay, here it is. Thank you. So, however, one mistake I see from time to time is that under 7C2A of the RPA, it's where I have it highlighted for you there. Buyer's agent has checked off both boxes for buyer and seller, thinking that it means both buyer and seller shall each pay their own policies, when actually this refers to only the owner's policy. Okay. So what they did not see is that the last line in this item already specifies the buyer paying for the lender's policy. Okay. Now, so unless your intention is to have buyer share the cost of the owner's policy with the seller, only the box for seller should be checked for this item.
All right. Thank you, Jacqueline. I think that was the last question for today's panel. I just want to say, again, thank you so much with all your knowledge and experience, ladies. I hope everybody got a little bit of something out of it today. Definitely want to reach out to Alina, Jacqueline, and Juliana if you guys have any other escrow questions. But it does look like we have some questions for you ladies right now. Let me see here. So again, everybody, if you have any questions, please feel free to just type it into the chat, and we'll try to get them over to the ladies. Yeah,
I think
you
we're out
three.
of time, Joseph.
I'm sorry.
We're out of time, but we could forward these questions to these ladies if they can maybe respond to everybody individually.
Got it.
If they're okay with that, we can do that. I do apologize. Everything was so informative. We are out of time. If you could just, I guess, forward it to the ladies, that would be great.
Sounds good. Yeah. Thank you. Again, thank you, ladies. And thank you, WSGVR, for the opportunity. Nanette, go ahead. It's all yours.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you so much. And thank you, ladies. You've answered my questions throughout the presentation. So thank you so much. And on behalf of WSGBR, I would just like to thank you. Very informative. And again, the questions that I guess that were remaining in the chat box, hopefully they can get answered individually and personally. Thank you.
Thank you for
Now
having
we
us.
move on to our attendance drawing. Please remember, it must be a WSGBR member to win and no phone number. So our first winner of today will be, wheel is spinning and we have, let's see, Tomas Wong. Congratulations, Tomas. I am assuming he is here, although I need verification. Can someone please tell me, Belen?
He's here, but he's not
He is-
unmuting himself.
Okay.
Thomas, you need to text your email address.
Email address, please. Thank you and congratulations. Next, we have second winner. And the second winner is going to Lisa Chi.
Lisa is here. Lisa is here.
Oh, great.
Lisa, I'm muting you.
Parece que me gané la lotería, pero no
Yes.
le contesté.
Hola,
let me-
Tomas. Hola, Tomas. You are not muted.
Hi,
Okay,
I'm
he is
here.
Great.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Lisa's here.
No, estoy
Great.
en el
Hi, I'm
MLS
here. I'm here.
y me gané la
Let me
Thank you,
mute
Tomas.
Thomas.
Please mute yourself again.
I'll mute him.
Next one, let's spin again for our third winner. Because we heard from Lisa, we heard from Tomas. Now we're down to our last one. Third one for today will be winner number 3, who is
A speaker.
Juliana too.
Shall we?
Great.
Shall we check she's here?
She's here, isn't she?
She's here.
This is payment for her presentation.
Can we have Lisa and Tomas enter their email address, please, in the chat box?
Yes, please enter your email address so we can get that prize to you.
And Juliana, please enter your email address as well.
Okay. So we have everybody. That's all 3 winners then.
Yes.
Great. Okay. Please remember to join us for education classes. Next week, we have personal cybersecurity. We also have Break Free, Take Control of Your Money Today for a Better Tomorrow. And we also have on May 11th, commercial webinar, how to close commercial deals and make more money. And then after that, we have the power of preparedness on May 14th. So please remember to join us in our education classes. We have more information on wsgvr.com. Also, arriba, arriba, heads up everyone. Cinco de Mayo is coming up, May 5th, but we will be doing our Cinco de Mayo event before May 5th because because May 5th will be after our next meeting. So next week, April 29th at 9 a.m., please everyone join us for this festive event, Cinco de Mayo. We will also have, as you see on our next flyer, the game of Loteria. It's just like bingo, except we don't use numbers, we use picture cards. So you either have 4 picture cards in a row, in a vertical column, in a horizontal column, or diagonally, and you win. So those who are interested in participating in Loteria during this Cinco de Mayo event, please register in advance. The deadline for that is April 27th of next week. So we hope to see everybody there.
Nanette, please tell them they cannot register at the day of the event. They have to register events to play.
Oh, yes, in advance, not the day of the event, before that. So before, I believe it's by next Tuesday. So we're gonna have music and entertainment and something for everybody. So thank you, and hopefully we'll see you all next week. And I believe after that we have, meeting will be adjourning shortly. Thank you everyone for joining us. Our next meeting is April 29th next week. Please also remember to support our affiliates with your transactions. Thank you everyone, and our meeting is adjourned. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.